Chris Jericho, man, I mean, what on earth? Let's wind the clock back 10 years. If we were to go back 10 years, I would have told you that, yeah, Chris Jericho is obviously a really good pro wrestler. He's obviously very talented, but I wouldn't have called him one of my favourites. He just didn't like my fires, whatever that means. But you know what I mean. Some wrestlers like your fires in your stomach, make you happy. He wasn't one of my guys. Move on a decade and forget about it. Chris Jericho may be the most exciting professional wrestler on the planet just because of the way his mind works and how he uses all the experience that he's built up. And given his recent actions, he may be about to change the wrestling business again. Why? Right arm can't slap head because it's dead. Here's why. Now, if you've somehow been living under a rock for the past few weeks, you may not know that, yes, Jericho is indeed heading east for Wrestle Kingdom 12, where he's going to take on Kenny Omega, a match that has got so much buzz, even bees are jealous. And yes, that's a really joke. But what are you going to do about it? Nothing. More jokes coming later. That was a bit much. That was a bit weird. Why am I yelling about jokes? Move on. Anyway, I've no doubt that whatever they do in this bout is going to create news headlines the world over. What I was not expecting was a phenomenal build and maybe some of the best pre-match work we've seen in pro wrestling for a long time. From crazy beatdowns at New Japan's tag team tournament show to post-match press conferences where Jericho was throwing tables at Kenny Omega and Kenny Omega was just beating him up, we haven't seen stuff like this since maybe the NWA days. Maybe it's been that long. And because of that, it's managed to grab fans' interest in a way that we also haven't seen for a long time. And I think if you're like me, you kind of like it and you want to see more of it. The real joy of all of this, though, is how Jericho is presenting himself in New Japan. I mean, I don't know about you, but in many ways, I just thought he'd turn up to New Japan as Chris Jericho, as Y2J, as the guy that we'd seen in the WWE, because why wouldn't he be? The uniqueness was seeing that guy in a new environment. He didn't have to come up with anything new. I mean, he hasn't been to Japan since the mid-90s or whenever it is, and he's a completely different performer to where he was then. He didn't really need a new personality. He didn't need a new character, but I think we all hope that he may come up with something. But that's not what he did at all. Instead, he took the freedom he knew he'd had in that company and he ran absolutely crazy with it. I mean, he made Kenny Omega bleed and he started swearing to the point I was like, who is this guy? This guy is awesome. He called a cameraman a face. And not only was this the more adult take that a lot of wrestling fans say they do want to see within the sport, but it goes to show that once again, nobody, and I mean nobody, is better at reinventing themselves or looking at a situation, understand how to pace themselves onto it as the man Chris Jericho. I'm not taking anything away from Kenny Omega. He was awesome here as well, but just by the way Jericho acted, he managed to become news. Just by that, he said a few words and he became an internet headline across the planet. The question then is, what is the fallout and what is the after effects once this all does go down? Because I truly believe in my own brain there's going to be some. I mean, I'm a guy that likes to keep up with New Japan. I like to know who wins or loses, but I'm not necessarily fussed about seeing every single match. But after all this frenzy, all this fracas, all this buzz, the bees, we mentioned that earlier, there's no way I'm going to miss this match. I don't want it spoiled. I want to see it as live as I can. I can't be alone in that either, which means Jericho has achieved exactly what he set out to do. He's garnered extra interest in a dream match that probably would have sold itself on the names alone anyway. And because of that, this could become the catalyst that helps New Japan as they continue to make inroads into America. Now, I'm not saying this is going to kill WWE before you all go crazy. The WWE is too big, the machine rolls on too fast, there's too many cogs, too many wheels, too many parts of the machine. I may have just said that, but it's a machine, hashtag machine. But that doesn't mean that someone can't start making enough noise that they slowly start to look over their shoulder and be a bit like, I don't like how close these people are getting. And I do also get that a lot of this could just be the noise that you do find within the social media bubble. I'm sure we've all experienced that before. You're on Twitter and it feels like the subject you're so excited about that the world is too, then you actually go outside and realise nobody's talking about it. You did indeed get lost in the social media bubble. However, in my experience, I've got my casual wrestling fans coming to me and they want to know about all of this, and that's where the power lies. You tune in to watch Wrestle Kingdom 12 for this match, and then you see Naito, then you see Okada, then you see somebody else that you like, and all of a sudden, you're signing up to New Japan World. Then all of a sudden, maybe you're interested about buying a ticket when New Japan make their annual excursion to the United States. And I don't know about you, but that's a lot better than the guy that before this was, I'm going to find a way to watch New Japan illegally on the internet. Of course, this could be all for naught, and when all is said and done, it's over quicker than a hiccup, and we just enjoyed it for what it was. But that's not the impression I'm getting, and the impression I am getting is that Jericho may be about to help change the business once again. And it may not be a huge change, but it could be a shift and ever since the Attitude Era, we don't get many shifts. Hell, the least it's done is driven up some excitement, and that's alright with me, and it has underlined that surely now you cannot argue that Chris Jericho is a legend of the pro wrestling business. I mean, he was having a great time anyway. Think of his last WWE run, and now he's done this. This is like the ultimate cherry that continues to grow as you eat it. And again, that doesn't make any sense, but don't pretend you wouldn't love that cherry. Don't pretend you wouldn't love a cherry that as you ate, it kept growing so you could eat more of it. That's Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is the ever-growing cherry. Hell. The centerpiece of all of this, though, is Chris Jericho, and I think he deserves some praise because also he did take quite a risk here. He'd agreed to all of this, and then he rang WWE. Maybe Vince McMahon and the company would have got so mad and said, listen, Chris, he never came back. He took a huge risk, but he did it because he knew the benefits. And who benefits the most? That's right, us, the fans. Well, no, Chris Jericho benefits the most because I'm sure he's being paid a load of money, but still, there's things to be beneficial for. Don't know what that means. Just talking gibberish now. Still, as soon as 2018 kicks off, we're going to get something in the pro wrestling world that is absolutely huge. And I can't be mad at that. It's got me excited. I'm ready. And maybe, just maybe, it helps Kenny Omega to move up a few extra pegs too. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. So thank you, team. You get a salute. Very, very, very pumped for what you're about to do. Now don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about Wrestle Kingdom 12 and this match and Chris Jericho. Like, share and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com and read yourself some articles and follow What Culture on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. My name is Simon from What Culture. If you really want to know about my arm, I do talk about it on social media so you can find out. It just hurts a bit. And I will see you soon.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe below, and if you're looking for more content like this, then try a few things that are floating about around my ears. It might be fun. I can't promise it though, but it might be.